Okay, I am going to do a fire tumbler on a black base. I'm going to attempt it anyways. Somebody had suggested that for a color combo, so full disclosure, this is my second attempt at this cup. The other one, I just was not happy with the way it worked out, so I'm going to attempt again. I did it the way I do my normal alcohol ink swirls, and I think that led me to just putting too much color on. So I believe this time I am going to try it backwards of how I normally do. But I will explain that in just a minute. Let me get this coated so I can get these gloves off. I'm giving this a pretty good coat. This is a 20-ounce traditional in shape. Tonight's bonus video will be my normal fire tumbler, my standard one. I don't think I'm going to use my normal decals for this. I think I'm going to do something different. I haven't decided yet. So we'll see. We'll see if I even like this when it's done. But I'm going to get these gloves off so I can pull my sleeves back up. Alright, so I'm going to slip a mat under here. And I'm going to get another pair of gloves on. I'm going to grab that other cup to show you as well. But let me get these gloves on if I can. So I feel like this cup came out cool, but I feel like it's more, it's probably going to get a Chinese dragon on it, because that's kind of, let me scooch this, it's kind of the vibe I get from this, is like a fiery dragon, not so much a firefighter. So I think that that's what I'm going to do with this cup. I'll probably eventually post the video for this one once I get to finishing it, but it won't be this week. So it wasn't a waste, it wasn't a fail, it was just a fail as far as what I was going for. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is open up my inks. I have my normal reds, orange, yellows. I have a brown in case I need something darker. But I'm just going to get these all open and ready, because I'm going to work a little quick. I just have a variety of reds, orange, yellow. I'm not going to go through the full list of colors again, because honestly it changes every cup I do. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my Pinata White. I'm going to put a couple drips on, put a couple drips of color, and see if I can't better control how much color I end up using. So, because I feel like I ended up with just too much color on the first one. Or I could end up with a cup that looks exactly the same again. Who knows? So I'm just going to put a drip of color on the white spots. And kind of work this one backwards with how I normally do a fire tumbler. So I'm gonna like drip, drip. kind of like what that does, doing them right on top of each other without giving it time to spin. So maybe I'll do a couple that way all around. Those ones separated, that was funky. And I do want to make sure I get a couple drips down the bottom. And some orange down there. So I feel like once again I'm on the verge of too much color. So I'm going to warm this up with the torch this time. That is what happens when you put the torch on alcohol ink too quick. The cup will be fine. It's just something to be aware of. It's why some people don't like to work with a torch. I actually burn inks on purpose on glass quite often, so that doesn't scare me much. But if that's going to freak you out, just go straight to your heat gun. I just have a couple of spots that are very white that I want to get some color on before I really start to move this. Alright, so I'm going to get my heat gun plugged in quick. I don't like to leave my heat gun plugged in when I'm not using it. I use the Wagner Furno 550. I'm gonna not turn up the heat so much as just the fan. And I'm going to tilt the cup. And just let it get moving. It's a little awkward working around the camera. I'm going to push some of that back towards the bottom. See, it's basically doing the same exact thing the other one did that I didn't like. So, I'm going to push some of this off. most of it off, in fact. I like the way the bottom held. So I like that better because I had more control over where the color was going. I'm just going to mix in some more clear resin and see if I can't save this. This cup is pretty warm, so be careful if you're doing something like this. Kind of like some of what it's doing on its own now as I'm swirling in. This basically became one of those, you pour a bunch of colors on it and you drag your hand down the cup. TikTok techniques. I'm going to get a little bit of color back in. Maybe a little bit more, whoops, a little bit more white. Looked like a little bit to me. Because this is so warm at this point, it really should move quite a lot on its own. Not at my pinata yellow. Oh no. I don't really want to put more red in. This is that ember color. And I think we're just going to continue working it in a little bit by hand. Texture on this does feel a little strange at this point, just because it's been heated a lot. I'm going to get this glove off. I'm going to quit playing with finger paints here. I do want to get some more yellow on here. The yellow doesn't seem to like to stay for some reason. I'm going to put just a couple more drops over the top of that. So maybe it'll pick up some more of that yellow. And I'm not overall terribly unhappy with what it's done, other than the white spots now, but I'm going to, I know, but I'm going to heat it again for like 2 seconds. And put it on its lowest heat. Okay. End around in a really strange way. It actually now does look like a fire tumbler. It does look very different than the first one. But I think I'm not actually too dissatisfied with this now. So I'm gonna let it keep spinning, and I'll probably put like a probably put the Maltese cross on here still, but I'll probably put like a fire flag, like with the axe or something on the other side, just to keep it more simple. But would I do it this way again? Probably not, but let me get the regular fire tumbler. This one will be the video tonight, my standard. So, two very different. This one's much darker and broodier. But overall, not dissatisfied. So, there we go. I'll be back for decals. So, I'm ready to get a layer of resin on this. I did the decal work. It's just the fire flag. It says firefighter. It has an axe in red. I did a darker red. I didn't want a bright red on this background because the red is darker. It's almost a perfect match. Turn the turner on and let it spin quick. I don't love this cup. I don't hate this cup. The back side, I just did the Maltese cross in red, and then I did axes crossed over top of that. So it does have a couple bubbly looking spots, but this was not the smoothest cup to begin with. So it is what it is. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's different. I'll give it that. But in all honesty, every fire tumbler I've ever done has sold. They're actually what I sell the most of, so I'm not too worried about it. Mostly I just hope that none of the decals lift. And this one I am going to hit with the heat gun because it is quite bubbly, my resin. And this one is probably going to get one more super thin coat after this coat. I don't want to give it a really thick coat because that base coat with the swirls did end up relatively thick. So hopefully just one more super smooth coat will finish it off. But okay. I'm going to let this spin for a couple of minutes, grab my heat gun, heat it, pop the bubbles, and then get it leveled back up because it is drooping this way a little bit, and let it spin out. And I will be back to show you the finished product. So here it is, finished. Again, not my very favorite, but it came out pretty cool anyways, after a bit of a struggle, as you saw. So that is a fire tumbler on a black base.